Did you know that for The Breakfast Club, the scene in which all characters sit in a circle on the floor in the library and tell stories about why they were in detention was not scripted? Writer and director John Hughes told them all to ad-lib. 2. Judd Nelson, John Bender, stayed in character off-camera, even bullying Molly Ringwald. John Hughes nearly fired him over this, but Paul Gleason, Richard Vernon, defended Nelson, saying that he was a good actor and he was trying to get into character. 3. John Hughes wrote the screenplay to this movie in just 2 days. 4. In 2010, Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall told Vanity Fair magazine that John Hughes was receptive to actors' and actresses' improvisations, and some of them, including Brian's reason for having a fake ID, so I can vote, made it into the final film. 5. Judd Nelson improvised the part at the closing of the film where Bender raises his fist in defiance. He was supposed to just walk into the sunset, so to speak, and John Hughes asked him to play around with a few actions. When he was done and they were finishing up, Nelson threw his fist up without running it by anyone. Everyone loved it, and it has also become an iconic symbol of the 1980s as well as cinema history. Did you know for Star Wars The Phantom Menace during filming, Ewan McGregor made lightsaber noises as he dueled? George Lucas explained many times that the sound effects would be added in by the special effects people later on. Ewan said, "I kept getting carried away." 2. Liam Neeson was so eager to be in the film that he signed on without having read the script. 3. Sets were built only as high as the tops of the actors' heads, and computer graphics filled in the rest. Liam Neeson was so tall that he cost the set crew an extra $150,000 in construction. 4. When fully dressed and in makeup, Natalie Portman and Keira Knightley resembled each other so much that even Knightley's mother, Sharman McDonald, who visited the set, had trouble identifying her own daughter. 5. According to Star Wars canon, Obi-Wan's hanging braid is a Jedi tradition common to all Padawan learners. When his master feels that he has reached proper maturity, he must face a series of trials. If completed, he cuts the braid with his lightsaber, signifying that the student is now a full Jedi Knight. 6. Qui-Gon Jinn's communicator is a redecorated Gillette Sensor Excel razor for women. Did you know that for Ghostbusters, almost none of the scenes were filmed as scripted and most had at least one ad-lib? Most of Bill Murray's lines are ad-libs. 2. The character of Winston was meant to have joined the team much earlier and would have been slimed at the hotel until Eddie Murphy declined the role, and the script was rewritten to have Winston appear about halfway through the film. 3. In the middle of the film's initial release, to keep interest going, they ran a trailer that was the commercial the Ghostbusters used in the movie, but the 555 number was replaced with a 1-800 number, so folks could really call in. When they did call, they got a recorded message of Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd saying, "Hi, we're out catching ghosts right now." This marketing ploy was so successful, they got 1,000 calls per hour, 24 hours a day for several weeks. 4. According to an interview with Mix Magazine Online, Ray Parker Jr. tried to create a song for the movie for 2 days. At 4:30 a.m., he saw a commercial for a drain company that reminded him of a scene from the film. That commercial helped him coin the popular line, "Who you gonna call?" Did you know that for Mean Girls, Lindsay Lohan was initially cast as Regina, but she decided to play the nice girl so the public would not base her real personality on Regina's? Rachel McAdams was chosen to play Mean Girl Regina George because only nice girls can play mean girls according to the producer. 2. Although they play mother and daughter in the film, Amy Poehler is only 7 years older than Rachel McAdams. Similarly, although they both portray characters who are in high school and are in the same grade, Rachel McAdams is 8 years older than Lindsay Lohan. 3. Tina Fey envisioned backgrounds for all of the characters. If any of the actors had questions about their characters, she could fill in the blanks for them. 4. The skirts for the Christmas talent show are made of plastic. The costume designer says they were made of that material to represent the plastics. 5. In the scene where Katie was asked if her muffin was buttered, the line was originally going to be, "Is your cherry popped?" The same went for the girl who made out with a hot dog was going to be something more inappropriate. These were omitted in order for the film to gain a PG-13 rating instead of an R. Did you know for Click the Coin trick that Henry Winkler does in the movie is something the actor does in real life? During public appearances, Winkler will often do the trick for children. 2. As an in-joke, the names of some of the crew members are visible on a few headstones at the graveyard scene near the end of the film. 3. In 1995, R.L. Stine wrote a very similar story in his Tales to Give You Goosebumps, with almost the same plot and setup, even down to the title, Click. Scholastic almost sued Adam Sandler and this film's producers for plagiarism. Both parties agreed the entire situation was a coincidence, so no legal action was ever taken. Both stories could easily be based on the old French tale, The Magic Thread, in which a boy is able to pull a thread to speed up the parts of his life he doesn't like. He quickly finds himself an old man before being given a second chance. 4. The cameo appearance of Terry Crews singing Working for the Weekend by Loverboy was inspired by his iconic moment from White Chicks. 5. Adam Sandler and production designer Perry Blake designed the remote to make it look ergonomic and not have a million buttons on it. Did you know for La La Land, according to composer Justin Hurwitz, all the piano performances featured in the film were first recorded by pianist Randy Kerber during pre-production. Ryan Gosling then spent 2 hours a day, 6 days a week in piano lessons, learning the music by heart. By the time filming had begun, Gosling was able to play all the piano sequences seen in the film without the use of a hand double or CGI. 2. The audition scene, where the casting director interrupts Mia's emotional performance to take a phone call, was actually inspired by one of Ryan Gosling's auditions in real life. 3. Emma Stone performed Audition: The Fools Who Dream live. She would decide when to switch from dialogue to singing. There was no pre-recorded track she was lip-syncing to. Justin Hurwitz, the song's composer, was in another room playing piano in her ear. Director Damien Chazelle said this was done so Emma could have more control of the scene. 4. Because Damien Chazelle wanted to shoot the scene in the tradition of old musicals without cuts or editing, Ryan Gosling practiced playing the piano and played it himself in one take on his first day of shooting. Co-star John Legend says he is jealous of how quickly Gosling learned to play so well. Did you know that for Borat, the police were called on Sacha Baron Cohen 92 times during the production of this film? Even the FBI assigned a team to Sacha Baron Cohen during the filming of the movie due to numerous reports of a Middle Eastern man traveling the Midwest in an ice cream truck. 2. Borat is based on a Russian doctor Sacha Baron Cohen once met. He said the doctor was completely hilarious, but it was unintentional. 3. Johnny Depp, George Clooney, and Steve Martin, all of whom are huge fans of Sacha Baron Cohen, contacted him about having a cameo in the movie. However, Baron Cohen refused because it would have ruined some of the gags if they knew what was going on. 4. The suit and underwear Sacha Baron Cohen wore while playing Borat Sagdiyev had deliberately never been cleaned. This was done to make the character smell stereotypically foreign. 5. Sacha Baron Cohen reacted to the lawsuits by commenting, "Some of the letters I get are quite unusual, like the one where the lawyer informed me I'm about to be sued for $100,000, and at the end says, P.S. loved the movie. Can you sign a poster for my son Jeremy?" Did you know for the Hunger Games Catching Fire, Jennifer Lawrence said while filming in the arena, she hit herself with the bow mid-sprint and dove into a pool of jets, leaving her partially deaf for 6 days. Katniss went deaf in one ear in the first book. 2. Jennifer Lawrence said that Josh Hutcherson and Sam Claflin were very clumsy, saying Claflin fell at least once in every scene they filmed. Claflin agreed and said they could fill an entire gag reel with him falling over. 3. This was the highest-grossing film of 2013 in North America. It was the first film to top the annual box office with a top-billed female lead since The Exorcist, and the first with a woman as the sole protagonist and primary marketing focus since The Sound of Music. 4. All 3 of the songs Ed Sheeran submitted for the film's soundtrack were turned down. 5. Gary Ross, who made the first film, was offered to return as a director, but declined. He called it a hard decision, but he preferred to write and direct the sequel, which he felt was impossible in the short time between the 2 films. Francis Lawrence, who had been on the shortlist for the first film, was eventually chosen to do this movie and its 2 sequels.